121. This is an S14. So this is still a little new to me, so if you guys have any input and advice, anything at all, I'm open to it. But this is how we test. I want to start making videos of like thorough testing, like through and through. As you saw, I smacked the switch in the beginning, moving this over here, activated the hazards. So now stuff like that does happen. Don't get alarmed. Just figure out what's going on, right? Like clearly the hazards were clicking. So you go to your hazard button, which I accidentally bumped when I moved it right there. So you just turn it off. Now we know that works. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up our meter. I kind of like to stuff this in here because time and time again it falls out. I'm sure there's something I can purchase, but small business life, yo. Trying not to spend any money. Hey, make me look bad on camera, yo. There she is. There we go. All right, hold tight while I get my mic. I forgot to mic up. Okay, mic'd up. So first thing we want to do is you want to turn your meter on. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Hold on. No. Okay. So you get your meter on, and we want to check all of the battery constant circuits. So there's a battery constant in your digital dash disconnect, and this is for the digital dash. This retains memory. We have another one over here, which is the AA circuit. This is primarily for a radio to retain the radio's memory and stations. So that's good. And then we have two in your inputs and outputs as well. So we check these. It's good. That one's good. I check other stuff too from time to time, just to make sure none of the other circuits are powered up when they shouldn't be. So now put our key in, we'll key on. Let's start with the starter. This is always the trickiest because I have to do it like this. Ready? Oh, I already popped off. Pop off. There we go. And then let's see if I can do it. Boom. Starter signal from your key. Now we're going to go through and check all the key on circuits. Make sure all those. Again, we have one here in the digital dash, which this is labeled number 15. Again, we have for the radio. Good. We want to check the brake pedal. It's hidden in here somewhere. Let me look for it as we check the inputs and outputs. Good. Good. And then again, I just test the running light circuit. Make sure nothing has power that shouldn't, but stuff that should have power has it. Here's the brake pedal. Let's see here. So we can test power. Boom, have power. And now just for hee-hees, we're going to test the brake light circuit. And now we know that the brake light circuit is task complete. We can check that off the list. I don't think there's any more flying lead ignition on circuits. So we can move on to the adder relays. We'll knock that out the park. So we know our hazards work. We just activated those. And you can see this particular customer wanted their corner lights to be their hazard lights, or blinkers, I should say. We'll come back to that in a moment. And we'll review the different front ends and how we did this front end. So we'll turn that off. Let us see. So the switch panel is labeled to the specific flying leads. Here we go. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of the only way it fits on my bench. I mean, if you think about it, this is actually like a dining room table with a piece of plywood under it, and it's still not enough room. But we'll get there. We'll figure it out. So BB, BB. So I always like to test prior. No power. Power. Off. Boom. So we know that circuit's good. We tested for the starter, so that circuit's good. So now let's see what else. So we have here CC and DD adder relays. So we'll do the CC. Boom. Off. Good to go. And then we'll do the DD. I like to make sure it turns on and off. That is part of an operational circuit. over the digital dash because there's a few things on here that is tied to your OEM stalk for the lighting and the blinkers. So we'll do the blinkers first. We already know the blinkers work because of the hazards, so we just want to check the circuit for the blinker at the digital dash, so we know that works. And then we'll check the other side just to make sure that doesn't have power. That's important. We want to make sure everything works the way it should, how it should, the way we built it. All right, so your right blinker works. Left blinker doesn't have power. And then just for the video's sake, we'll turn on the hazards. And we'll check both, make sure they both have power. There we go. I actually melted this a few times, so it's got to get scuffed up and cleaned up. All right, cool. So we know all that works. Check that off our list. Now we can go to the running light circuit. You see the lights activated, and now the front end doesn't have any running lights, but we actually did tie in these flying leads for the customer. So we're just going to test that. Boom. Voltage. Test this. Voltage. Good to go. Now we're going to check the running light circuit in your flying leads for the input and output. And then there is another in the digital dash. So this doesn't have any aftermarket gauges, but if it did, we would wire that in also. Sweet. So now let's turn the headlights on. As you can see, the headlights are activated. And then we want to check at the dash, make sure the headlight on circuit has power. There we go. Wrong wire. That'll help. I do it too. We're only human. All right. And then we're going to activate the high beams. And now we'll check this other wire. There she is. There she is. All righty. So let us see. What else can we check? We check the starter. We check the brakes. Reverse lights. Perfect. All right. So in your inputs and outputs, you have a yellow wire. This yellow wire is your reverse lights. So this needs to see power to activate your reverse lights. So we'll just take key on power, and don't try this at home. Oh, no, I'm just fucking with you. There she is. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. All right, sick. So that's checked. Oh, we wired in the OEM fog light switch, which is an option on some stalks, to a switch ground so that this customer has a, whoa, watch that. Ooh, easy, bud. Switch ground power. So we'll put this here. Take this. We'll come here. Oh, I'm going to do this one-handed. So we'll check it. We check it. No power, no juice. Activate. So this is a switch ground. This is the black, the ground side. You can see. Good to go. We have power there. So let's see something. Why is the power so low? There she goes. I have a sick meter. It's actually right here. Oh, easy, fella. I have a sick meter. It's right here, and it doesn't ever come out. And this one just gets used and abused. So sometimes the points on these get a little rugged. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see she's a little bummed up and scummed up. So I'll probably rough it up, scuff it a little bit, get a better connection. So let's see what's next. Customer has their own fuel pump relay built into their engine harness, so we just left them a nice little disconnect, and it plugs right into their wherever it is. It's kind of tough being on the bench here, huh? Let's see. Plugs right into their OEM fuel pump connector. It's like a bright blue connector. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, just kidding. That was an S13 I was referring to. This is an S14. So it plugs right into their OEM fuel pump hat. We upgraded to a 12 gauge power and ground for this. model, and then that's pretty much it, man. Like, that's how we test. I love testing. This makes me so happy. Like, think about it. I take raw materials and I build this beautiful work of art. So for me, it's a little nerve-wracking to test because what if, right? Thankfully, we don't really have many problems ever. But one thing we learned and we started doing is, if you notice, this heat shrink isn't shrunk right here. So God forbid something is off, we can actually get back into the harness, and here's all the connections right here. So if something should be off, if one of the ignition ons doesn't have power, let's say we missed it, which you'll be surprised how easy it is to miss something with all these wires, which is why we test. Here's a disconnect that goes to the trunk of the S14 for your third brake light, which we don't have. You guys have a third brake light for an S14, holler at us. And then your reverse lights, which you saw us test. Anything that goes into the trunk, we put it on a disconnect because, boy howdy, that is fun to route sometimes. All right, so the S14 has the Kouki and the Zenki front options. So this is a Zenki. We have the outer bumper side marker light. We have your corner light. We have your front bumper blinker light. You have your outer headlight high beam, and you have your inner high beam. This is for the passenger side, which is different from a Kouki, which has your headlight high beam, and then you have your front bumper blinker light, and then you have a corner light. And on this customer's build, they asked to have it a bit custom for their drift car. So what they requested was not to have any front bumper lights. So they didn't want the side bumper corner light or marker light, nor did they want the front blinker light. So we recommended that we put the blinkers in the corner lights. This way they have blinkers and, more importantly, hazards, because on grid, if something should occur, you can activate your hazards, which most tracks require depending on the specific track. You can activate your hazards, which would let the grid workers know that something's up, and they can accommodate you accordingly. So what we did is we wired the blinkers into their corner light for them. So that's the difference. That's a custom version. The customer let us know in their questionnaire. And then we have the Kouki version, and we have the Zenki version. All available right here from Chassis Harness, and it all plugs right into the main harness from a 6-pin DT Deutsch connector.